Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I'm going to be covering equations of circles and completing the square to get because to be able to solve problems dealing with equations of circles, you sometimes need to know how to complete the square so that there's no confusion. We will not be covering, for example, area, sector area, circumference, or arc length. That's going to be in a different video. This one's going to be just equations of circles and completing the square and everything having to do with that and everything you might see in the SAT dealing with these topics. Let's go. So let's begin with what an equation of a circle actually looks like. The standard form for the equation of a circle is just this. It's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And in this equation, h comma k is the center of the circle and r is the radius. So if instead of having an h and a k and an r variable, if we were to replace them with numbers, for example, let's say we did x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 4 squared. That means that 2 comma 3 would be your center, and that 4 would be your radius. Simple as that. Now, they could have rewritten this in a slightly different form. For example, instead of x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 4 squared, they could have instead, for example, said that it equaled 16. Well, that 16 is equal to r squared. So r would be essentially the square root of 16, so it would still be 4. Same thing, because 4 squared is equal to 16. Just for one more example of this, let's say instead we had x plus 6 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 25. This would mean that the center is negative 6 comma 2, and that the radius, and I'll say this is center, and that the radius is going to be 5 because that is the square root of 25. Simple as that. Now, you might get something that looks like this. You might get something that simply is x squared plus y squared equals 25. So in this case, nothing's being added to the x and the y, right? So if we were to, for example, transform this into the form that we just saw, this might look something like x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 25. So this tells us that the center of the circle is simply going to be at 0 comma 0. And of course the radius is still just 5. Now if you see x squared plus y squared equals 25, you don't have to then write out x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 25. I just did that to kind of prove to you why the center is at 0, 0. Now, if we were to graph one of these, so let's say we graph the x squared plus y squared equals 0 equation, or x squared plus y squared equals 25 equation, the graph would look something like this. We would have just a regular graph, and let's draw some points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In this scenario, the center is at 0, 0. And the radius is 5. So what I would do is I would make little tick marks at 5 in each direction. And then so this would, roughly speaking, be our circle. Now, of course, if the center were different, if it weren't 0, 0, if the center were 2, 3, for example, you would then put your center at 2, 3, and then you would make a radius of 5 in each direction. So you would make it tick 5 to the right, 5 to the up, 5 to the left, 5 to the down of center. That's it. And really, as far as an equation of a circle goes, the initial equation seems kind of complicated, like x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared isn't like the easiest equation to just remember. But once you just memorize it, it's super easy. That's it. The most common mistake that people will make is, let's say we have something like this. Let's say our equation is x plus 2 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 16. A lot of people will think that the center is at 2 comma 3, but you gotta remember that the equation of a circle isn't x plus h squared and y plus k squared, it's with minus signs. So that means if in your equation you have an x plus 2 squared and a y plus 3 squared, your center is going to be the opposite signs. So this is going to be negative 2 comma negative 3. And the radius, of course, is still just 4. That's it. Easy as that. And if you're asked questions about this, literally what they'll probably tell you, they might give it in different forms. They might tell you what the center is. So for example, instead of giving the equation and asking for the center, maybe they'll tell you that the center is at, let's say, negative 6 comma 7. And they'll tell you that the radius is 9, and they'll ask you to give the equation of the circle. Well, let's just use it. We know the standard equation of a circle is, again, h minus k squared, x minus h squared, plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So we'll just substitute the center and the radius that they gave us into the equation. So this would give us x minus negative 6, so x plus 6 squared plus y minus 7 squared, and this of course equals 81. Easy as that. Now, another thing that they love to throw into the questions is they'll give you something like this. They'll give you an equation that looks something like x squared plus 6x plus y squared plus 8y minus 25 equals 0. And then they'll ask the same kind of stuff. They'll be like, what is the center of the circle, or what is the radius of the circle, or both of them. The way you have to do this is you have to, with circles, in order to figure out the information about the circles, we have to get it into that standard equation of a circle. When you have an equation that looks really weird like this, that isn't the standard equation of a circle, we have to do a method called completing the square to get it into that form. And now I'm going to show you how to do it. So completing the square is completely counterintuitive. Like, I don't know who came up with this on their own, but this is how you do it. I'll kind of try to explain the logic behind it. The first thing you need to do is you need to move all the constants to the right side of the equation, to the other side of the equation. And on the left side, you want to bring all the x terms together and the x squared terms together and all the y terms together and the y squared terms together. So we're going to rewrite this equation as x squared plus 6x plus y squared plus 8y equals 25. Now this is the weird part. Completing the square, here's how we do it. We have to take half of the coefficient of the x term and square it, and add that to the left side. Then we have to take half of the coefficient of the y term and square it, and add it to the left side. And then because we added those values to the left side, we have to add them to the right side as well. Because in the balanced equation, if you're adding or subtracting or doing whatever to one side, you have to do it to the other side also. So let's try this out. Half of 6, this 6 right here, is 3. 3 squared is 9. So we're going to do x squared plus 6x, and we're going to add a 9 to the left side. We're now going to do the same thing to the y term. Half of 8 is 4. 4 squared is 16. So we're going to write plus y squared plus 8y plus 16 equals 25. And now this is perfectly fine to do, to add that 9 and the 16 to the left side, as long as you also add them on the right side. So we're also going to add a 9 and a 16 to the right side. Now you might notice something interesting. This x squared plus 6x plus 9 and this y squared plus 8y plus 16, we can factor them. And this was why it was so important to have moved that 25 over to the right side at the very beginning, because if we hadn't moved it over, we wouldn't really have this form where you could just like factor these two parts. But now we do. X squared plus 6x plus 9, this factors into x plus 3 times x plus 3. Y squared plus 8y plus 16, this factors into y plus 4 times y plus 4. And on the right side, we've got 25 plus 9 is 34, plus 16 is 50. So we got 50. Almost done. Now, x plus 3 times x plus 3, that's just x plus 3 squared, right? So let's write that out. So this becomes x plus 3 squared. Y plus 4 times y plus 4 becomes y plus 4 squared. And on the right side, we got 50. So from here, we're basically done. This looks familiar now, right? This is the equation of a circle. So now we know that the center is simply -3 comma -4, and that the radius is simply the square root of 50. And now in the question, maybe they'll need you to bring it out to simplest radical form or something, or they might leave it like this. It really just depends. And that's it. If you need to, stop the video here, rewind, look at these steps again. I'm going to do one more question, then we'll be done with this topic. Now, this next one is going to be very similar, but slight difference. In this one, the x squared and the y squared had a coefficient of 1, right? Because it's like 1x squared and 1y squared. What if we run into a situation where they don't have a coefficient of 1? So for example, what if we have 2x, let me make a line. If we have 2x squared, let's say plus 2y squared, plus, let's do 8x, plus 6y, minus 10 equals 0. What now? First things first, I'm going to go over something, and that is that the x squared and the y squared terms are always going to have the same coefficient. You'll never run into an issue where you have like 2x squared and like 3y squared or something. They'll have the same coefficient. So the first thing we need to do is we need to divide everything by that coefficient. If it were 4x squared and 4y squared, we divide everything by 4. In this case, it's 2, so we divide everything by 2. That's it. So divide everything by 2. That gets us x squared plus y squared plus 8x plus 6y minus 5 equals 0. Now, we combine all the x terms together, the x squareds and the x and the y squareds and the y's. And we bring the constant over to the right side. So we would get x squared plus 8x plus y squared plus 6y equals 5. Now, completing the square, we take half of the x. Oh, I messed up. Stop, pause. I messed up. I had divided the x squared and the y squared by 2. I forgot to divide the 8x and the 6y by 2. So let's undo some of this stuff. Let me see. How can I do an erase? That doesn't do it. Here's the eraser. So let's fix this first. Beautiful. So we're going to fix that and fix that. Let's bring the pencil back in. Okay, so this should have been 4x and 3y. There we go. And now we can do this stuff. So now we're going to do x squared plus 4x plus y squared plus 3y equals 5. Now this can get a little ugly, but c'est la vie. So take half of the coefficients of the x and square it. So that's going to be x squared plus 4x. Half of 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4, so add a 4. Plus y squared plus 3y plus half of 3 is 1.5. 1.5 squared is 2.25. So plus 2.25. And on the right side, we're going to have the 5 plus 4 plus 2.25. So now we're almost done. This becomes x plus 2 times x plus 2 plus y plus 1.5 times y plus 1.5 equals 9 plus 2.25, 11.25. This becomes x plus 2 squared plus y plus 1.5 squared equals 11.25. So the center is -2 comma -1.5, and the radius is the square root of 11.25. And that's it. That's basically it. And it doesn't really get any more difficult than this. If this makes sense, great, then you're donezo. If you need to, stop the video, rewind, go over this, but this is all that you really need in order to be able to solve effectively these kinds of questions. Hope it made sense. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell and check out my other videos. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like to see. See you next time.